All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a look at NECA's Universal Monsters Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. So we got a lot to go over with this guy. This guy's pretty cool. But before we get into taking a look at this guy or his accessories, guys, please like, subscribe, and share, and leave comments down below on what you think about this guy and any other videos that you may have seen. It also helps the YouTube algorithm get these videos out, like I said. Let's see if we can get this channel up to about 4,000 subscribers. All right, so with that out of the way, let's take a look at this guy's accessories. All right, so starting off, we are going to take a look at his hands. Now, these are his two gripping hands that are probably used to, hold his sai. And if you actually look, I love the way they did the actual skin texture on this. The thumbnail, the fingernails all together, just the texture of the hands all the way around. And the stitching, the way they did the stitching or staples, whatever they use to put these chopped up looking hands together. I mean, look at that. Look at that stitching right there. The slice in the hands. The way they did, the skin, the leathering of the skin, the yellowing of the thumb. I believe that one actually has like the chip in the thumb. All that. I don't know how well that's coming through on the camera, but on my end, it seems like it's kind of a little bit blurry. But if it's actually coming in good, hopefully it is. I can't tell on my end. The scarring alone in the hands, that you can tell that this has been from a different turtle, so to speak, when making Frankenstein's monster. These are his two closed fist hands. And once again, taking a look at all the detail that they have put into actually making this look as realistic as possible. Whoops. And again, the scarring on the hand, that's just a great addition. Great addition. And that's just with the hand sculpt. And then you have these two open hands that are on him as well, which when I go over the actual look of the actual figure, I'll go over those hands as well. And then he comes with his sai, which are actually pretty neat. They're more electric kind of like what Dr. Frankenstein used to bring his monster to life. And I can't think of the actual name of this right now. But yeah, so it has the whole look all the way through the handle, and then the balls on each end of the tips of the sai and the hilt of itself, and then the lightning bolt itself. So, or the lightning bolt, I should say. So that's really cool. And they're just casted in a silver, and there's a little bit of brushing on there to give it some wear. Very nice. All right, now let's get into the actual paint sculpt of this. All right, so taking a look at the actual paint from head to toe, I have to say they did a fantastic job. I mean, look at that face sculpt. The laziness or the dead in the eyes, the dead look in the eyes itself. I mean, that is fantastic. Then you have his mask, and then also on his mask, as you can see right there, you have the actual staples or stitching, and on top of the head you have the staples going through the top of the head, the slice going through the head, the look on his face, the teeth, they're just showing a little bit of the teeth, and then the stitches all on his face and around his neck. Nicely done. Moving around to the back part of the head, you have more stitching, the flat top with the actual brushing of the color of the hair, so you get the different highlights in there. Stitching on the mask itself, then the rest of the actual of his mask, the tails, and they're a soft plastic, as you can see, so that's really nice. Nicely done. moving down into the actual suit itself that he's wearing, the clothes, it's it's plastic. It's not, that's actually attached to the shell. I like the way they did the actual material in this guy. The material itself, you can see the difference, the texture in it. He has a plate that is actually bolted to his shell, the cracks in his shell. The actual, God, I can't think of the name of these. The pieces to his neck that actually bring the electricity to him, and I can't think of the name. And then look at the scarring in his neck, where you could tell that he's been pieced together. The bolts, there we go, the bolts in his neck that were used. I mean, very nicely done. I love the paint that they put into this guy. The brushing, the for the highlights, the dark brushing to give him that look of just old and dingy corpse-like, so to speak. The tubing running from the neck and then running back over to here to the other pressure gauge that he has, which I'll go over that in a second. The shell, all the cracks in the shell, nicely painted. Then you have the sewer, the manhole cover that's bolted to his shell. Nicely painted, nicely painted. The stitching of the actual patches, and then all the way down to his elbow pads. More metal that's been bolted into his arm, more stitching, and then down into his hands you have the stitching. Like I said, the paint that NECA has done and the detail that NECA has done with this figure is fabulous. Making a way down to now on his suit, you can see the side holders that are actually bolted into him. So these probably like go through and bolt down into the shell itself to hold it in there. The chain is actually a real chain, which is nice. And that, as you can see, has been brushed to give it like a rust look, to give it that old, timely look. Then you have the stitching in the pants, and then more texture, and then you have his knee pads. And the brushing on this to give it to bring out the detail is fabulous. Look at this stitching back here. And very nice. Then you get down to his feet where his boots are, and then you have more bolts. And then, of course, his boots. And then another on his back, he has another big huge piece of metal that's bolted to the back of his shell that's actually holding this chain. And then you have more metal that's been bolted down to him. And now here's a cool thing. So you have this actual, I don't know, electric gauge that is going into his shell, which then goes to the bolt in his neck, which then runs over to the actual gauge here on his chest. So this one's reading, I don't know if this is supposed to read low or high, it doesn't really say. But that's a cool little detail. There's the crack going through the actual gauge itself. And then you have the front, which also has a crack going through the gauge. And then this one's all the way over on this side. So it doesn't really say if they're full, if it means it's full of energy, low on energy, or whatever the case. But I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool the way they added that in there. And then, all right, so not a lot of paint slop on this guy. Very nicely done. So moving on to his articulation. Now, when it comes to the actual head, he can look down that far. Well, he's Frankenstein. He's not going to look all crazy. He can look up that far, and he has that much of a head tilt. Nothing crazy. I mean, you could probably get a little bit more of it. He can look left. He can look right. His neck swivels. So it's actually on a dumbbell joint. But his neck does swivel. So it moves with him. So you can actually turn this. which is actually good because then you have these hoses here, so you can actually get more of the stiff look out of him, or just regular turn right there on him. Very nice. His front shell is very soft, very soft. There's no ab crunch whatsoever. His arms, now normally NECA, they're really stiff when it comes to these joints. This one's not too bad, so his arms can move out about that far. They probably go a little bit more, but I'm not going to push it because I don't want anything happening. So he has the shoulder joint in here, which, you know, can move up and down. It can move in and out. He has a single jointed elbow. It wouldn't matter even if he had double, because the elbow pads are going to stop it right there. And once again, you're not looking for a bunch of articulation when it comes to this guy, because, well, he is Frankenstein's monster. He has elbow swivel, and then he has his wrist swivel, and his wrists do bend in. They're just really stiff. Just love the detail they put in on this guy. And then moving down to the legs here. Okay, so his legs can go out that far. So you can get him in a clunky walk if you can get him to balance. You can get him to balance out in a clunky walk, but with that shell on him, I don't know, you might need a stand to help hold him up. But yeah. His legs can move out about that far as doing the splits. Not too bad, not that you're going to be looking to do that anyway. And then you have a knee swivel, and then you have his ankle articulation, which goes back that far, moves up that far, and then he has his ankle tilt side to side, which is nicely done. So let's see, so pretty much with this guy here, I mean, yeah, I think NECA did a fantastic job with him. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, as far as, you know, his sigh slide, you're gonna have to move the chain up, and they just slide right in here. So you just put them in, and there you have his sigh. Whoop. All right, so then you have the sigh that plug into the front right there. Will slide into the front of his holders, which I always thought that was kind of weird, you know, the way they had them, because, you know, they're going to be stabbing into his legs and stuff like that. I always thought it made sense for them to go onto the back of his shell. I mean, to me, that makes sense. Or on the sides, even going at an angle, going this way. But that's cool, whatever. You're going to have them in the front like that. Just would make more sense for them to go like right here on the side, or even like here in the back. That's just me. That's just me. So when it comes to the hands, you want to take these out. You want to kind of, as you can see, they're pretty hard. And then you want to take his hand and kind of move it. There you go. Till you hear it snaps, plugs right in. And then you take his sigh. You're gonna have to kind of work it in there, which that's gonna be really hard to do. There it goes. And there he is holding his sigh. Yeah, I don't think Franken-Turtle's gonna be doing that much. I wouldn't go jamming this in there because you probably break this. So don't go doing that. Me? I'm going to leave him with the hands that he comes with on there because that's the way I like him. Let's be posed like this. Frankenstein didn't have any size, but Frankenraff does. All right, so overall in all, this is a great figure. If you can pick him up, by all means do so. But before I end this, let's take a look at some comparisons and see how he compares to a couple other figures. All right, so this is how he compares to Flames Toys Starscream Transformers model. Here's how he compares to the Star Wars Black Series Echo. Here's how he compares to the Bat Turtle, Michelangelo dressed in Batman's cowl and cape. This is how he compares to the 1990s Ninja Turtles Raphael in hat and trench coat. All right, and this is how he looks with everybody around him. So he actually fits in really good with all of these characters, except for maybe the Michelangelo is a little small, but he still fits in good with the 90s movie Ninja Turtle Raphael in trench coat and hat. And he does good with the actual Star Wars Black Series. He's not really too big, but he actually fits in pretty good. So, you know, and the Starscream, he fits in with that guy pretty good too. So you could actually have them mix and match if you wanted to. Pretty cool. All right, let's get into the end of this review. All right, so now just to go over the fact of the pros and cons with this guy. As far as cons, if you're trying to get this guy into dynamic poses, it's not going to happen. Never, ever, 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 ever. But the fact of him being a universal monster, turtle monster, so to speak, anyway, Frankenstein's monster, Raphael, with his attitude, which comes across fantastic. I mean, this guy is cool. Really, really cool. Yeah, for what you're getting here and what you're paying for, it's well worth it. Also, to the fact that you're not going to be putting this guy in dynamic poses anyway. Ninja Turtle or not. This guy here is Frankenstein's monster, just in a Ninja Turtle fashion, so to speak. So you have Raph dressed up or not even dressed up. This is him as Frankenstein. So yeah, cool addition to your collection, to anyone's collection. By no means, I'm not sponsored by NECA. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just love doing these reviews. So with that being said, I give this guy as far as one of the coolest figures besides the actual actual Universal Monsters Frankenstein that NECA did, which I have put away. I didn't bring them out to show them. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, so here we are. I went, I got them, I brought them out. Ta-da! There you go. I mean, that's great right there. Fantastic. So you have Universal Frankenstein by NECA, and you have Universal Monsters Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. Awesome. Just awesome. So anyway, as I'm bringing this to an end, I had to grab them. I had to show them. I had to put them in here so that way you guys can see them together. Listen, I give this guy a 10. Frankenstein over here, I give him an 11. He is one of my all-time favorites that NECA has made. And now this one here is right up there with him. I mean, fantastic. So guys, that's going to bring this review to an end. I hope you liked this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of the video. And I will catch you all on the flippity flip.